learned it.
They were like, 8 words that you absolutely can't use. Shit, piss, butt, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, and ass.
Okay, so we're live now on Facebook. Let me get it out. We're not on the radio yet. I'm going to try to cut that off.
Ear grabber. You be like, did I just hear them say? Yep. If you want to say hill, you have to make sure you talk about the place.
So I can say, what is it that they would say? H-E double hockey sticks.
Yep, H-E double hockey sticks. I said it before.
I think they said, if you aren't sure, he said, or any variation of words.
But see, hell, again, hell, as long as we talk about the location.
Any variation.
Hell is not even up there. So what variation is hell up there?
Okay, so you're right.
That out in your
Never mind. I'm gonna bring that strong point back this way.
Give me my microphone. You don't even need no mic no more. You can't even.
Listen, it's a new year. I expected some new use.
But it's not my mic, it's his. So that
It ain't his mic.
What is going on?
It's going to be a new decade.
No.
Not the truck.
he's a big me.
We got 20, a minute. Yeah, we got a minute and 20.
And then I go back to being nice on air.
If not, I know how to turn it off. Yeah,
Nice on air.
Professional. I can see the crown, so I'm going to be the one in trouble.
You see yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Everybody say hello. Wave to the
We got
camera.
50 seconds.
I'm going to try my best to be the camera lady that maneuvers this, but I always mess it up. Hey, Randy, I see you checking us out. How you doing?
Yes, and that's just me in the corner.
We got 40 seconds. You know, actually like slick and produce on yourself. You know that, right? I just want you to understand. I've been slick producing.
Am I actually on the video?
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
We got
Let me share it.
20 seconds.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, we can start at 8 o'clock right here, but we got the seconds if you want to.
I gotta push these buttons.
They're waving at you, waving at them, the stalkers.
Microphone.
Good evening.
Yay.
You are listening to WRUULP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Y'all, it's 2020.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's
That's what their calendar say.
It's
Yeah.
2020. We have shifted into a whole new decade, into a whole new year, into a whole new space and time. I'm so happy to be here. It's Friday. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. But it's Friday o'clock.
It's Friday
o'clock.
Y'all know this is Let's See Who My Friends Are. I'm your host here, Ray Carr, the Fit Hypnotist. Also here at the station with me tonight, my co-host.
Happy New Year, good people. This is your ear candy GQ Smooth. I'm Sam. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Also here in the station is Miss Ayana.
Hey everybody. I'm not on the cameras. I'm trying to figure out this new technology on my phone, but that's okay.
I know we on the radio.
Hi everybody.
Community radio. We don't like video. Radio.
I know, but I was on the
Radio, we're talking about camera.
I know. There ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed in the new year.
We tried to reform and it just didn't happen.
Our official guest here in the house tonight is Miss Dhylles Victoria Gibbs. She was here with us last year. All last year she was here. She was here with us, and and she is back with us to start the new year off. Also hanging out with us is Mr. Carmack.
Hello, hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
I don't know. He thought he was gonna skip by and not be. We also have another guest in the station. We'll get her on here at some point. It's just what happens. At some point the conversation is gonna get good, and she ain't gonna have a choice but to, want to jump in, because that's what we do.
But shout out to my wife. She in the corner here.
Yeah. for coming in and hanging out with us. Thank y'all out there on our Facebook page, checking us out. And thank you out there in Radio Land listening to us and catching these vibes from this way.
Welcome.
You know, I'm excited to keep on let's see who my friends are, you know, bring these wonderful people and experiences and topics to the station. So, tonight, as we always start, we're just going to quickly go around the room and just ask, you know, how has your week been? This has been like a special week, you know, but how has your week been? And how do you intend your weekend to be? You know, how's your weekend going to be? You know, Miss Dhylles, go ahead and start us off.
My week has been good. We went from last year to this year. So that's one thing that happened. It's just been very productive, very busy. Just grinding out some stuff for business, of course. Doing what I do. Coming up with some new ideas and things like that, and events, of course, taking place. So it's been good. And just chilling with the wife.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Good stuff. And your weekend, what you got planned for the weekend?
Clients galore. Everyone is in need of an intuitive mentorship session or intuitive mentorship programs. Yeah. Absolutely. So just helping spiritual seekers just get to the root of what it is that's bothering them, or if they're going through any transitional shifts, to try to figure out what that feels like and looks like, and to process it in a certain kind of way. Yeah. So it's just helping people look for truth and a deeper understanding of who they are, why they're here, and what purpose do they serve in humanity.
Yeah. So. Wonderful. That sounds like one of those things that, you know, you just wake up ready to do and just, you know, just like, yeah, I get to do this today.
I'm very humbled and honored to just do what I do every single day. So it's a blessing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. A lot of people, you know, leave this earth not even knowing what their gifts and their purpose is. So I have the opportunity to do so. So I like to just stay humbled and happy.
Yeah, perfect. Carmack, quickly let us know how has your week been?
My week has been good overall. My weekend's going to be good too. I'm going to rest. I've just been kind of like trying to like stay in the swing of things and not let the holidays kind of keep me out of the loop. But it's been good. Been good. Going to rest, relax, heal, and just kind of work on a few little minor production things, send out some emails, and stay in bed mostly. Because it's supposed to rain like all day. I mean, I like the rain, but I'm just going to chill.
I'm just going to
probably be in my apartment like, yes, it's raining. So. And just listen to
Ayana, let us know how has your week been. And
man, I woke up and it was, at the beginning of the week, it was 2019, and then I woke up this end of the week, it's 2020. I'm like amazed at what was the transition from a decade. You know, that was amazing enough for me enough. And then found out my mom got accepted. She passed away a year ago, but Arlington Cemetery accepted her. And we're going to have a full-blown funeral, the whole military shebang thing. I'm so excited for that. I got to figure out how to find a Class A suit that I might want to put back on. I don't know why.
You can shop at your store.
I'm
of
good.
employment.
I really don't want to be like the Ninja Turtle in tight shoes, but that's okay. I was like, I can't even imagine putting on my original one. So, but for the weekend, just gonna have a good old, I don't know, spontaneous day.
Spontaneous day.
Yeah, because the other one's working.
That's the plan. Got you. Tell us about your week.
My week was great.
Great. Oh, good.
Like Frosted Flakes. They're more than good. They're great. Come on now. Y'all not like y'all don't know it. Y'all got kids and they ate Frosted Flakes coming up, poured milk on it, little stuff. Anyway.
How was your week, GQ?
It was great. It was great. It was a good week. Relaxing. We got to spend it with family. Got to bring in a new year with family. Got to see them. And then came down to Savannah with my extended family. Got to perform on the New Year. So I feel like I'm a whole top-notch celebrity. I was like, yes, I get to perform on New Year's Day and stuff. I was like, yeah, living the dream and stuff. So I was happy with that. On the show today, relaxing some more, getting prepared for work next week. Just doing that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, preparing for work next week. Just relaxing, chillaxing, easing my mind. And that's about it. How about you?
About the same. I think the vibe going into 2020, I think everybody has just been on like relax and chill. It hasn't been that same big energy of like partying or anything like that. I feel like even the city was, I mean, there was a lot of people out because I came out, you know, for
To have a good time.
yeah, I came out, right? But, you know, once we were out, you know, everybody was still kind of calm and things like that.
Yeah.
And then, but it was a nice chill week. I had a wonderful time and looking forward to more. No, I won't.
Just nosy.
No, I'm not. No.
She said, "No, I won't."
Nope, I won't. But going into the weekend, definitely more of the same, and also preparing for, you know, that first full week of getting into work and getting back into the swing of things. We need to change your mindset and make it something you're excited about. No crying over there.
No crying about work.
Yes. Today, I have a topic for us to talk about because as we talk a little bit later, we have a bunch of women in the in the station, and we definitely want to we want to include y'all as part of the conversation as well. So our opt-in topic, our other people's topic, comes from Miss Cassandra Edwards, and y'all know Miss Cassandra. She's been here on the show before, and she said, "Do you believe that society puts pressure on men in a way that is unhealthy or bad? If so, please give a couple of examples on how society does that." So
That's a good one.
What time was that posted? Why am I just not saying that? What time was that posted now?
Well, someone on here, Miss Tasha, she said that no one is exempt from society's pressures. She said, "Darn society, hypnotizing everyone like that." And I tend to agree that everyone has a level of pressure that they feel from society. But are there pressures that are specific towards men, do you think, that stands out, that kind of really affect? For example, someone said men always have to be strong. Society says you're weak if you become vulnerable or show emotions, and society calls them emotional if they choose to speak on their feelings.
Right.
So I know I could only imagine that's, you know, that's one of the pressures. But anyone else have any examples or any insight on that?
I would have to say I do agree with the pressure of emotions, but they also have another. It's kind of counterproductive, I would say. Men are supposed to be the strong, the more supportive, the dominant feature. So if they're in the presence of a female that has that same type of characteristics, that then challenges their persona. So they come across, once again, flipping back to the emotions and being emotional and being the softer of the two that are combined. And I think society puts too much pressure on the men to not be emotional, not being able to express themselves, not being able to accept the fact that something is wrong with them. So,
what do you men think that are here? Because we could sit here and we could philosophize all.
This is true. I was
I'm the big man, so I know.
So what do you guys think? Where do you guys feel pressure from society? Because you know, usually women can tell you exactly where we feel pressure from society. But where do you guys feel pressure from society?
Do you want to start?
I go start. I say, to be honest, it's
Loaded beer.
I say the beers. I mean, I don't really feel.
Loaded question.
I mean, I really don't feel pressured by society a lot. More or less. I mean, it was kind of And this is why I see people like, well, this does this, society does this. It was just weird being raised not to care about society, more or less. So it wasn't that society put the person. I was kind of like, well, it was more of my family encouragement of how to be a man more than anything that pressured me to be the man I am. Now I can say for some group of men, like society does pressure a man not to show emotion. Yes, but I think that comes from the household more than society. Like it started from somewhere. Society didn't bring it out there itself. It started at home. And so it's kind of like society didn't do it. It's passing down from generation to generation and family things that did it versus society. Society knows what the family does. So if the family say a man can't be weak, that's because most times in earlier generations a man couldn't show this, or if he did cry, you ain't nothing but this word that I can't say on air, or you weak and you better stop doing that. I'm make a man out of you. I'm gonna beat it out you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But it's kind of like, okay, well, that's not gonna change me to be. Show me how to be a man, and I'll be a man. And if I decide to do other things in life, I'm still gonna do that, and I still am a man because I was taught a man pay bills, so I'm gonna pay my bills. Now I was never taught that a man pays all the bills. My family had done exactly.
I like how you got that.
Exactly. Now we had my mom and brother's daddy had a relationship where they worked out their finances together. Yes, I'm bringing it into 2020. Yes, I said it the way I said it. I love him to death though. But anyway,
I man gonna whoop your behind.
he tried to over the holidays, but guess what? He tried. But I got a key to go somewhere else. Bye. Anyway, but because you're talking about how to be a man, have my own. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's like my grandfathers on both sides. They took care of their family. They raised their children. They took care of the house and home. And it was just so having funny where both my grandmas were housewives and they took care of the actual house and home and not just brought the bread in there. But then my step grandmama, my granddaddy's second wife, she was a nurse. And did so like so it wasn't that a woman didn't work because the way his daddy said, oh, a weak woman is a non-working woman. I said, you better preach. He said, a weak woman is a non-working woman. I said, hello, somebody. So sitting there, I was like, yeah, my woman gonna have to go to work. Ain't no housewife in this. And that's, I mean,
you through?
no, I mean, but it's like I said, it's not really society. It's just the circle of life, primarily more than society.
Gotcha. And yourself, Carmack?
Mine, I think, is a little different, though. Some of it definitely is family. I do think society has a lot to do. From my perspective, I'll say it like this with certain things. In certain situations, from either observation or how I chose to carry myself and act, I kind of navigated the course of because of what society says a man should be or do in certain things, family, whatever, of where to act in certain places and where not to act in certain places. Some of it is superficial, too, choices of things that you like to do, whether it be, oh, you don't like sports, but you like this stuff over here. Well, you should go. So some of it is very superficial, but then I think some of it definitely goes deeper, too, based on the person, like personality traits. Again, things that might, this is more masculine or this is more feminine, and though these traits could go in between anybody.
Yeah.
So, but then again, going back to society or even family, you're very much taught that these type of behaviors aren't manly or not of a man. Definitely, like he said too, if you don't work and handle certain business, not a man, or not manly, or So I think there are a lot of certain other even, and then for me, I don't think I was necessarily competitive, but then there was this expectation too, being the firstborn son, that I feel like there was a lot more pressure to kind of setting this example of, okay, you have a younger brother, you have these other people watching you, how you carry yourself, how you navigate through life as a man, per se. So, it's very loaded with some, like I said, I mean, I'm like, even your career choices, I mean, I knew, not that I think anybody thought that it wasn't necessarily, but people just went, why don't you want to go over here and do this, or do, I'm like,
Right,
not
you're
what
a
I like.
construction worker.
Yeah.
Construction worker, and firefighter.
But it's all just like,
Would be an astronaut.
even something down to something like the action figures people choose to play with, like it doesn't dictate fully, like, but
Yeah.
So there are certain things that,
Yeah. I understand that, and to an extent, I think that's part of asking that question, because there are certain pressures that we wouldn't even think that men
Right.
consider as a societal pressure or even a family pressure. You know what I mean? So it's absolutely that. From saying, being the firstborn, that is a different type of pressure as well, and having a responsibility of, okay, look out for your younger ones, and they're looking up to you, and how much of a pressure that is to take on, the responsibility of shaping someone else. That is something that is true and real.
And you
Can I interject?
Oh, very true.
Yeah.
And if I will say, you done a great job. But for those that do that to them, that's the dumbest thing you ever could do. Because all my life, that's what pressure I had to. You see what your brother doing, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to. I don't. That's not.
And I don't like it. But then and then men do it to other. You see what that guy over there is doing. That fellow. People matriculate at different rates and different times with different things, and their path and their course to something as a man is going to be different than somebody else's.
Yeah.
And to pressure and a lot of men will. I mean, some of the boards I said, I tried to do it even to my students. You can't compare the caliber over here to this caliber. That person caliber still is probably strong. Again, just the route of how they're going to get to what they want is not going to be the same. It's different.
Right.
And so men will pressure other. Yeah, it's what. Yeah.
Now, what I will say though, if you,
you go.
I'm finished. If you let me know when you want me to say, but I will say though that even with that, I will say that the dynamics of a man and some younger males have diminished. I mean, whether you look at even though certain animals, certain women are the protectors and everything else, I do feel like what society has done though was because if something happened to a woman, this man is 2 times her size. That's the first thing I put. This man was way bigger than this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And X, Y, and Z. So it's kind of like, well, are we still to be the protectors or do we not? Women able to protect themselves a lot better, so we don't have to worry about being twice the size. We have to worry about protecting them because they're telling us, well, don't be a protector. You're just a person. This woman is just as powerful as you, which she is. But it's kind of like, well, why are we now? Society does, but well, why does it matter that he's 2 times bigger than her? Why does this
like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, especially working with my students, I always try to tell them, I was like, look, I'm not saying you have to do whatever, but and my thing is, women are the carriers of life, so I'm always gonna be protective of that. I mean, I almost went very graphic just then, but you all, I was like, don't do it. I drew myself back in, thankfully. But you all, and I always,
thanks for coming back, sir.
yeah, I always protect that because you all hold life. So my thing is, that's the reason I'm going to protect my woman and women in the world. You carry life. Like if it was not whatever you intake, it protect. I mean, what I intake too will affect some of my stuff, but it ain't gonna be as effective as the biblical cord that's attached to that child. And then you're near.
Come on back.
Then you're near death. What are you talking about? I'm there. You're not listening to me.
When you went deep for a minute there, you was like, wow.
We're going deep. You see, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to cut this man off. But see, that's what you're trying to be dominating. That's what I'm talking about. That's why a man can't be a man because y'all women are women.
So at that point, we have just finished the opt-in. I want to opt out right now.
We tapping out right now.
Yeah, we tapping out right here.
Pineapples, we're moving.
Exactly. But I think that helps into the segue, as tonight's show and what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about personal power. Power, what that means, and a couple of the questions that, some of the topics that we're going to be talking about. Ms. Dhylles and I have an event coming up at the end of this month on the 26th, right? So if you guys want more information about that, it'll be posted on our page.
It's all over Facebook. Just go to my page and click.
Click, yeah. Yes, all the information is there. But the topic that we are talking about is, our relationship with power. Now that word, if you hear it, You can feel it, you can sense it, when someone else has it, when you don't have it, right?
When you've stepped into it.
Right. Exactly. So that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
But first and foremost, let's get a reminder, Dhylles, about what it is you do and why also is this an important topic for you.
What do I do? Lord have mercy. What don't I do? No. Well, I am Oracle Ancestral Advocate and a mentor for people who are spiritual seekers.
Yeah.
And it's just helping them find their truth and a deeper understanding of who they are, what they're doing here, and how to serve humanity. In what ways are they looking to serve humanity?
Yeah.
So power to me is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
Due to either a traumatic experience or conditioning or growing up or however they were taught.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we give away our power so freely to other people or situations or struggles or whatever the case may be, and sometimes we don't know how to bring it back.
Yeah.
For those who brought back their power, it's learning how to walk in the power with confidence and courage and fearlessness and full faith, knowing who you are as a person and what you're here to do. So power is something that I think it's an amazing gift when used properly.
Right.
Some people misuse power. Personal power is knowing who you are and where you stand.
Yeah.
Creating the boundaries and not feeling guilty about saying no and, not feeling guilty about saying yes to you or being selfish with you. It's about losing that whole thing about that fear, guilt, and shame.
Yeah.
But standing in your truth and standing in who you are as a spiritual being having a human experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For myself, I know with what I do, I try to.
You don't try. We do.
We do. Exactly. See how quickly I caught myself. What I do is I help people, to really, as well, kind of step into their power. And I tend to tell people that power is something. Is that your ability to affect change, right? Absolutely. Your ability to make something move, to make something work, to put something exactly where you want it to be. A lot of times we have a lot of knowledge, and I tend to say that knowledge is just potential power, because once you take that and you put that into use, but how do you put that into use? How do you find, what it is your power is, or find, what that ability to, to change things, so.
I think it's definitely releasing things that have been holding you back, things that no longer serve you, in order for you to make space for power to take place in your life. It also comes with forgiveness of self and accepting oneself and surrendering to who you are.
Yeah. And
also not beating yourself up for mistakes and regrets, but actually just embracing all of you, every flaw, imperfection, everything. And that's a great way of you stepping into the power.
Yeah. That's amazing. We are going to take a quick break as things get deep, as we as we get a little bit deeper about, areas in our life where, we recognize times in the past where, we didn't have the power that we wanted to have, or didn't have that influence or that ability to make a change or things like that. So as things get deep, let's take a minute. Let's pay some bills, as they say. And, I'm always doing, okay, so here we go.
That was so smooth, man. That was a smooth transition.
Yeah. She got it. She know what she's doing, man.
Oh, yeah, we about to get deep, y'all. Come on.
That was amazing. That was a nice little snippet of a plug right there. You got to do a big one.
Oh, yeah. But if you come on January 26th.
There you go. That's how you do it. I like it.
will be.
I shared it out to have a whole bunch of peeps on here.
This portion of WRUU Savannah Sounding Programming is brought to you by listeners in the 2020 Savannah Music Festival, presenting classical music artists Silver Quartet, Savannah Symphony Orchestra with Andre Watt.
I need to play all of these things.
No.
So what?
Escher String Quartet.
This is the one why you put in the paper.
Information.
My friend Justice says that we work well together.
This portion of WRUU Savannah Soundings programming is
After
made
this,
possible by
yeah,
listeners
after it
like
goes
you
up and
by
turn
the
it up.
2020 Savannah Music Festival, presenting classical music
20
artists
seconds.
Silver Quartet, Atlanta Symphony Orchestra with Andre Watts. Performance today is Piano Puzzler with Fred Child and Bruce Adolph, Escher String Quartet, Camille Thomas, and more. Additional information can be found at savannahmusicfestival.org.
And you guys, you've been listening to WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Y'all hanging out with us here with Let's See Who My Friends Are. We've just been chit-chatting a little bit and talking about power, the word power, our ability to influence and to make changes, our ability to step into our personal power and things like that. Have you guys, before we went off the air for our little snippet of a commercial, I was saying we're going to come back and we'll talk about, areas in our life where we felt that we didn't have power. Would anyone like to share anything with us this evening?
She said, "Whoo."
Now that is not feeling like you don't have power is one of those empowering memories that you should ever have. The most time I felt like I was actually I didn't have any powers when I watched my husband pass away in my arms. And it wasn't that the fact that I couldn't save him, because I did the CPR, did all of that, and we even had last exchanging words. It was just the fact of realizing that I have no control over anyone's life, no matter what technique I have. I have no control over preventing someone else from passing away, including myself. So that means that, oh snap, I need to start doing more things with my life now. So I felt like I didn't have the power, but then I realized how powerful that moment it empowered me to realize I need to start living before the time I die.
Yep, I could piggyback off of that, having a near-death experience. Well, it'll be 9 years. I didn't have power or control over anything for the 13 days I was in the hospital because I was in a bed. So it was like all you did was sit there and think. So it's just pretty much like you said. I had to promise myself, okay, if I have the power to get up off this bed, then I'm going to do everything that I set out to do. I will no longer make excuses. I will no longer have to give explanations. I will just be me and just live my life the way that I see fit for me, what makes my heart smile. Because when in that instant, I feel like I'm on my second chance at life.
Right.
So for me, it's when I'm on that deathbed, when that time comes around, which will be 100 years old, with blonde hair, red lips, and some corset.
That's what I'm talking about.
Snap. Yes,
We see wifey smiling over there in the corner.
So for me, I don't want to have the shoulda, coulda, woulda the last 10 minutes before I take my last breath.
Right.
I want to say I did everything that I wanted to do. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I used my power for good. I made an impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that was a powerful teaching moment for me. And I think what solidified it more is after I had one surgery to, save my life, I had to go into a second surgery 3 weeks later.
Wow.
Again. So it's like you're being tested.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like universe is saying, look,
Get
I'm
it
giving you
right.
this opportunity. Don't mess it up.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll go back through the lesson again.
Exactly.
Right.
So I had to reclaim the power that I have within myself to say, okay, Dhylles, you will no longer be a people pleaser. You will no longer be a doormat. You will express yourself. And if anyone has anything to say about it, that's their responsibility for themselves, not yours.
Yeah.
Stop extending, stop bending over backwards because you want people to like you. Because at the end of the day, your validation and your affirmation of self matters most than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that is how I stepped into my power with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My friend Justin says, thank you for sharing your story about your husband. I recently lost my uncle and felt helpless not being able to do anything to help him.
Oh.
That's my friend Justin. Shout out to Justin.
Hello,
And everybody
thank
else
you,
on
Justin.
Yay, hello people. I would say that the most recent thing in my life that I felt like I was completely powerless in was my recent divorce, you know, and watching how you can go from 1 year of predictable paying bills, predictable these types of activities to what the number is that on there? What the heck? Yeah. Yeah. What the heck am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And seeing that, you know, Ayana, like you said, knowing that a particular event or something like that where you felt so powerless can end up being the memory of your most empowering moments. But yeah, just knowing and kind of being in a place where I like, okay, now I have no control over things that were happening in my life. For the people that were privy to, you know, the things that were happening in my home, know that my daughters are the most important things, you know, to me. And, you know, at the end of that, my second divorce, my daughters aren't living with me for a year, you know, so that is something else when your children, you know, aren't right there where you can touch them, grab them, you know, shake them, whatever you need to do to them when they aren't there. That is something where I felt super powerless. However, you know, knowing that I've had previous experiences where I felt like I've lost my power, you know, things like that tells you to, you know what, get your crap together. You know what I'm saying? Recognize exactly what your power is, what your influence is, and step into it, and step into it boldly so that you can create the changes that you need to create within your life to make it what it is that you want it to be. Because part of letting go of your power is allowing other people to create your life for you. You know, it is giving them the opportunity to shape that picture of what your life is, what it's going to be. So, fellas, talk with us. We know that.
Why they both do that shivering like, oh man.
Well, those are some very deep situations. You see, I was here looking like.
It doesn't have to
See,
be.
and the thing
I know
is,
what you
and,
mean.
you know, for each person, and you know, one of the things about sharing and this space is recognizing that what's deep for you is deep for you and your experiences. You know.
Absolutely. And if this resonates with y'all, come and join us on January 26th.
I know, because we're going to have this conversation, you know,
on
further.
a deeper level.
Yeah.
I guess one of the interesting, and I didn't hear this quote until, this was right after college. So the original TV series Dallas, back in the day, there was a line.
JR?
Yes, with JR.
Oh,
Where JR is that? Where Ewing,
Yeah.
But where the dad, when Jock Ewing tells Bobby, if someone gave you power, then they gave you nothing.
Yeah.
Power is not given to you; it's something you take.
Ooh.
And when I started thinking about that, even throughout the course of my life, I was just like, you. And it goes back to what you said too. If you let people, they will plan your life for think that. And so I find myself thinking. I don't mean like I'm going out here like wielding power, like I'm taking it from you, but taking it back for myself, really. And for me, knowing. I always knew I had a purpose, but knowing what that purpose is has been power or powerful.
Right.
Versus when kind of just floating through life in certain situations, and I've definitely had certain situations where God knows I was like, don't know how this is going to get paid, and certain things are going to get lost and taken and gone, and I'm just like, well, guess it's just going to happen, but you know,
didn't need it anyway.
Suit up anyway. And then, you know, when you know what's in you, you know what you're capable of. When you you'll put yourself through you'll get through some crazy situations. And then now some things with reality, and even when they do happen, I'm like, well, that went out of control. That escalated quickly. And it still might have went bad first. But then I was like, okay, this is something I can control. Certain things I'm just like, well, that's just gone. But I do think for me it's just taking that power back for myself. And like that purpose. Having that, knowing what your purpose is. And that changed. Because I feel like power and purpose is evolution. Like you evolve. Those dynamics could change as you grow. Probably should, maybe. But if not, you could stay the same. And then again, you'll get comfortable. And again, it could be back to someone who sees something in you that you don't see. And before you know it, you're the puppet again. So you knowing like your purpose really
that's empowering.
sits well with me. Like knowing like, okay, that's my power.
Yeah.
Being able to walk in that. And then it exudes to other people. They know. And I think you said earlier too, it's kind of like, you know, people, how they engage with you in certain things, whether they'll know not to cross you, or like that's someone I think I want to be around for whatever reason. And again, it's not like you're just walking out there like some dictator, but it's just you're comfortable in the power that you have with your abilities, what you know, and what you're able to do.
Right, and who you are.
And who you are. Yep.
Right.
Exactly. And yourself?
Oh, well, me personally, I'm just honest as I know how in my thought of recollection, I don't think there was ever a time that I felt powerless. There's a time I just didn't use my power. And a lot of those times growing up, and I'm not going to say as the youngest, but as a youngster, you always were told, well, you're too young. You can't do this. You can't do that. And blah, 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 blah. So that way I can use my power in certain situations because it was adults ruled. And so when I became an adult, it was kind of like, okay, you can rule now. Even becoming a teenager, you could do certain things and rule. And I always was confident in myself after about 8th grade. So after about 8th grade, I'm just kind of like, okay, I just have to know how to control this power and use this power and not let people affect it. Now, I almost broke 9th grade when I was in high school. I almost broke a little bit, but then I think about who I was. I was like,
You almost broke.
I almost broke. I thought about who I was.
It almost broke you down.
It did. It wasn't to the point of like about to do anything. Although I was just kind of like, I could go and do a whole 360 and a whole 180 and turn my life completely around and be totally different than, oh, be like your brother or look at your brother, see what he's doing. It would been like, ha 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 ha.
I'm looking at your brother though.
Well, why you you didn't disturb him at all? Don't disturb me. Dang. That wants something like that power right there. You trying to, dang.
I take up for my buddy.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, not saying it was a bad thing. Again, you not listening. I'm saying you cut him off now. That power thing.
He
Yeah.
was acting up last time.
But let me turn off these mics. I can control those two mics. See how they work too? What mic you got? 3, so I can control your mic. Yeah. I can
I
control
have
your
mic too, and I'm just sitting here listening. I'm not interrupting.
Yeah, that's exactly. But yeah, I just had to learn how to control that
See
power.
what you had to say, brother?
And you,
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh gosh.
We were on a roll for like a good 15 minutes and then
He started it.
but it's all good. It's all good.
Don't worry, this won't be taking place January 26th.
as long as she's not there.
And speaking of January 26th.
Yes, what's going on January 26th, you ask?
So, Ray and I, superpowers over here, we are collaborating and we are creating a beautiful event called Sip and Chat Relationship with Power, where we will be talking about different elements of power, how you can step into it when you know you've given it away, how to claim it back, and Ray will be doing her beautiful meditational
Yes.
sessions and things like that, and I will be doing my Oracle spiritual mentorship. So we're combining our gifts and our power to educate, inspire, uplift, recharge, renew, rejuvenate, and send them walking away within their power.
Yeah. This is something that's important to us. It'll be, all the information will be listed with this, but it will be at my location, at my office, at Hypnotherapy.
All right.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is very important. I think that at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of such like a magical time, I mean, I've been walking outside looking at the leaves fall into the ground, like, you know, I'm waiting for fairies and stuff to fly out the trees and come sit on my shoulder. That's how I'm looking at this time, like truly and honestly. And maybe I look crazy when I'm walking around like this, but I'm really allowing myself to soak in the magic of this time of year, of this shift in decade, in everything. I mean, if y'all don't feel like everything changed over the past week, I don't know where you've been. But you know, this is very important for me to help others to kind of step into and recognize just how powerful they are. You know, one of the things for the longest, I had to keep reminding myself that as a product of this universe, you know, I yield the power of this universe. You know what I'm saying? To create and to change things, you know, and the more I tell myself that, the more that everything looks possible, you know. So as I'm walking around looking into the trees for my fairies, I'm really believing that they can, you know, that they can come, because everything is possible in this world. If we can speak it, if we can see it in our mind, we can achieve it. If we can feel it in our heart, we can hold it in our hands. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, I'm happy to help other people to recognize that and to just step into a place where they feel that same way and start putting into action now, you know, what it is they need to do in order to take control of and use their power in the areas of their life where they need to. Because some of us feel powerless in our health, in our relationships, in our finances. You know what I'm saying? Some of us just feel powerless in our emotions, how we feel.
Yeah.
So
emotionally, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, all that stuff.
All right, I want to get this information out. Do they need to sign up anywhere? It's open to all age groups. How do we go about making sure?
It's definitely open to all age groups if you're 21 and older, because we're gonna have bubbly wine.
Yeah, it is typical. So it's basically 21 and older. Okay, so there we
You
go.
can go to bit.ly/relationship with power.
Okay.
So it's capital R in relationship, lowercase WITH, and capital P in power.
Okay, that probably, and I'm just gonna get that because did we say the time that was gonna be? We just said the day. What time?
2 p.m.
Okay, starts at 2. So I want to make sure we put this out there so we get people the
exactly.
power. Make sure they be all the information. Because I was like, well, why are we doing this? We didn't make sure all the information gets out there. Before I forget, I was like, well, what time is it? What? Okay.
And, you know, I'm actually creating some self-care glam bags for the women that's attending, and you know, of course, we're gonna have wine, hors d'oeuvres, things like that, and a couple of goodies here and there. But it's just basically just because I think right now, since it's a new decade, new year, that's when people are starting with the new me, new year. So it's self-reflecting and introspection and all that stuff. So I think it's a perfect time to actually help people find out where to begin to start the process of declaring, owning, claiming, believing, visualizing your power. And I feel like power, the process of starting in the power is trusting yourself and trusting universe and whomever else, God, real understanding, and knowing that all of your needs and wants and desires are being provided for, and that's power within itself.
Right.
When you're able to manifest and see it for what it is.
Exactly. So, and I'm just going to be a comedian right now. You said something for the ladies now. What about the guys? Okay, we don't show up. We show up. What are we going to get now?
Yeah, that's to me, I feel like, is it open? See, Justin just said it. Yes, it's open to both men and women. We're opening it to both men and women. You're more than welcome to come and join us.
Yes.
Like, I used to do something similar in New York, and I had the same issue. I started off with women, And then I had like, yo, well, like, what's up with the brothers? So it's like, okay, come one, come all. So you definitely have to
your
be
feminine energy, though.
Why?
I feel like
Why you your mic still on? Oh my God.
Because we all have both. So,
I mean, yeah, we do have both, and I feel like for me, both men and women need to step into power. Like you guys were saying earlier about society where men are concerned, I think that plays a big part about it too.
Absolutely.
You know, I think with social media and the era of media, where there's so much pressure and expectation, and you know, you're worrying about how much likes you have and how many people share your stuff and this, the next, and the other. I feel like people have given their power to social media.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like trying to bring that back to full center where you step into your power as the person that you are. You don't need social media to you know,
be
define
sociable.
right or define who you are. So I think this is a good opportunity for people who are going through a period of space of time where they're questioning themselves and questioning, you know, their belief systems, or questioning the trauma that they're holding on to.
Yeah.
They're questioning it, and they want to figure out, you know, how to go about doing it. So if this resonates with you, come and join us on January 26th if you're ready to step into your power and really, really trust it in order to create a new decade where you can create your opportunities and possibilities for yourself. And if you're ready to release all the stuff that you've been holding on to for dear life, or you know, for a long time, and you're ready to let it go, join us.
Yeah.
I think you said something key in that too when you said you have to trust it. I think a lot of, you know, sometimes things will put us in situations where, and you know, I find myself looking back at certain situations. I'm like, you know what, I did handle that then. I didn't realize or recognize that. But the older I've gotten, I have been able to trust my power and my, like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I'm able, you know, to, and even if not, I'm like, well, okay, if there's still breath in my body, I'm able to live on, then I'm just going to have to migrate through this and still be able, and there's power even with that.
Absolutely.
You know? So you have to trust that path, that journey.
So let me be a little bit scandalous right now, right? So we say power,
I plead the fifth.
and some people may hear the word strength, right? And I think it's important that we say that it's not the same thing.
You can have strength, but that's different from power.
Exactly.
Because strength is, you know, being able to, like, when you fail, you fall and get back up and get back on the horse again. You can have strength in that, but power is a completely different thing.
It's a force.
Right, because with power, you are holding yourself accountable to be consistent and holding on to that strength. Strength is, I'll be strong today, but then tomorrow, damn, like, I could give
exactly, because there's a, and I think with opening it up to, you know, to men, I think it's important that men recognize, you could be strong. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have the power or that you are in your power. Because like you say, that strength can give out, you know, at any time. And as much as you intend to be strong, the holding on is what depletes your strength. So being able to let go of and move freely in your power is definitely beneficial.
And also honoring your vulnerability and knowing that it is not a weakness, it is a strength. That's the other part, especially with men. You know, that vulnerability goes only, you know, there's a fine line between it. So being able to
You cannot be
vulnerable, exactly.
You got to, you can't.
Now, with that on the flip side, picking back off that, since society says, you know, you have to, I think a lot of the times, though, ladies have a bad habit of knocking them when they do. So it's kind of like...
That's true, too. It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, so I was just at the sessions, will that be mentioned, like, okay, ladies, even like, okay, I'll make, you know.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
was like, well, half of the time when if vulnerability ever takes place.
Well, I have this discussion with a couple of my female friends and family members who are women, they're single. And they're like, well, I want a man to do this and da, 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 da. And I had this conversation with a cousin the other day because she was like, you know, this guy is, you know, pursuing me, but he's too nice. And I was like,
Like,
I
what?
said, you're going to have to pick your poison. Do you want to continue to be treated badly or disrespectful? Or do you want the guy that's going to treat you nicely?
Right.
And it goes back to, do you want someone with all the physicalities, the six-pack, and then treat you like crap? Or would you go with the person that's just a regular human being that's perfectly flawed, just like you? Like, you have to look at yourself in the mirror before you put these expectations and have this list of the kind of person that you want.
Exactly.
That person may not even want you.
Right. What are you bringing?
Exactly. What you bringing to the table. So all that going to be discussed. Justin
Exactly.
said,
And also, you know, the importance, too, of recognizing that part of your power is influencing other people. You know, how who
Absolutely.
you are, how that influenced the other person. So we know how to negatively influence each other in
Absolutely.
relationships. You know, we know how to cut somebody down and not be open to their show of vulnerability. So you know, that's something that would be discussed as part of claiming your power, is knowing how you affect others negatively and how you can affect others in a positive way, by first being in your own space in a positive way.
See, Justin is old in our conversation. He said, strength to me is being able to hold it together when everything is falling apart in front of others. Power is being able to deal with the situation and move forward.
Yes, Justin. You need to come on in and chit chat with
Justin, Justin, you gonna come in and chit chat?
all about that. Any comments? Any last comments as we're wrapping this up today?
Just join us on January 26th. We're gonna be waiting for you.
Speaking of January the 26th, and we're talking about power, will you be discussing anything about how to control your power? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Once you find out how much power, it's like, think about this. It's like winning the lottery. If you are understand that you have power, and it's like, well, dang, I have 1,000,000 gazillion points of power. What do I do with it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like people who win the lottery and them who's never had it, and then they just use it frivolously. You know, and that is also something that is, power comes responsibility.
Absolutely.
You know, and you can empower people or you can destroy.
Well,
Either way. So that's
the one thing with me, and I think Ray does this too, I like to give people homework assignments when they work with me. And when you give homework assignments and you give them things to do, that kind of like, and then you tell them like, well, with my clients, when I give them a homework assignment, it's just not for a week. I give it to them for 30 days.
right.
And then it becomes a regular routine or practice that they put
An
into place.
investment. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
To the point where they have to actually put, hi mom, hi mommy, my mommy's on where they have to implement it every day to the point where I have to pull out their cell phones.
Yes.
And you know how you have your calendar on your phone and you set a reminder? Every single day you're going to remind yourself to do this specific thing or
That's
say
nice.
this specific thing or whatever. I have something that I did recently with a couple of clients, and I told them, I want you to open up your calendar at 8 a.m. in the morning. Each morning I want you to celebrate yourself.
And then you're physically doing it. You're writing
have
it
to
and
do
you're
it.
announcing
Yeah.
it. So everybody, did you guys catch that? You're gonna get a lot in this session.
Yes, you
I mean,
are.
it's not just cheese and wine like she said it was. I really think you should really show up, and the guys can come too.
Yes, the guys can. Absolutely. I mean, you know, the topic is for everyone. It's just not it was for women, but I guess we just opened up the floodgates.
I know, right?
Which is great. I love
That's
it.
right.
But
Yeah.
the power is just based. It's for everyone.
Right.
It's for
Walk
everybody.
in your power.
Yes.
Walk in your power, and you shouldn't have to worry about somebody else's power. We can just blend them.
Yeah. You can blend them.
But you guys are working.
There you go. Yes, me and Ray.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for, let's see who my friends are moving forward into 2020. for doing this more often. I appreciate you guys. Y'all just don't know. Y'all be coming. Y'all was there on the first show back, on the next show back, on the comeback show.
On the New Year's show, the Christmas
You know what
show.
I'm saying? On the Christmas
The hollaback
special,
show.
on the game show
Oh, yeah.
special. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all coming out to start the year off, to kick this year off. Nothing but, wonderful, wonderful blessings and amazing things in this 2020. As I see y'all, as I'm walking through and I'm, looking for my fairy. As I'm doing all of that, I'm dazed and I have whatever look on my face, but it's always like love and peace and happiness and joy. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm shooting out to the universe as I'm walking around looking nuts. But but thank y'all so much. This has been Let's See Who My Friends Are. I'm your host here, Ray Carr, the Fit Hypnotist. My co-host.
I am the co-host, the Ear Candy, GQ Smooth.
Really? All that sweetness.
I'm still a friend here. The friend is still here. Ayana Daly, the friend
Yes.
on the couch.
And y'all know we have had in here Miss Dhylles. Thank you so much. Yes, and also Carmack hanging out here with us. Somebody. Yes, she escaped the mic. She got them lips sealed. I ain't saying nothing.
You're not even gonna give us a Russell Simmons.
Thank y'all so much. This is WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia. 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Thank y'all. Have a good night. Bye.
When I say global soul, I think about soul glow.
Why is it not fun?
Thank y'all. That was so awesome. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, you okay, ma'am?
You're cough up a lung. Glad you saved it for after the show. Good looking out. Way to be a team player.
Like it kept right at the end. I was like, oh no.
Oh
Why
my
is this phone
goodness.
sick?
Hello, folks that have been hanging out with us. Thank y'all so very much. January 26th at 2 p.m.
Hashtag January 26th.
Hashtag, look at my hair. Lord Jesus, what's going on? January 26th at 2 p.m. at Ray Carr Hypnotherapy, we are going to have our sip and chat. Relationship with power. We are definitely going to be taking this conversation further and deeper. We'll also not just be talking about it, but we'll be finding and helping you to resolve those things, and find the areas where you have lost your personal power and help you to reclaim that. And then have you leave with some wonderful ideas and tips and tools to continue doing that.
Goodie bags.
Yes, and goodie bags. Who doesn't love goodie bags? I know I like goodie bags. Anyway, bye y'all. Thank y'all so very much. Bye everybody.
I didn't realize your head was blocking me.
Just saying. Bye y'all. Thank you.